Welcome everyone, Tactical Lich here, and I'm back from the holidays. Now we're hopping into a Total Warhammer Land Battle multiplayer game. In this replay sent in by Lamsauce Kings to the Nightcrew Discord, I picked it up because this has a rather interesting Skaven army. Lamsauce King, as the Skaven here, is going for a full melee approach against the Slaanesh army, providing a bit of a chaff box consolidated by a bunch of more elite melee in the middle. Now, for the walls of this box, a bunch of clan rats shields with spears and without, and then in the middle we have the Blight Scabs plate pack and Plague Monk sensor bearers providing some magic attacks in case they are Slaanesh demons. The Council Guard will be protecting the Gracier of Ruin, coming in with Scorch and a bunch of other spells and abilities, including Unholy Clamor, Dreaded 13th spell, and Death Frenzy for that extra melee attack and weapon strength, and more importantly immune to psychology, making sure the Skaven troops do not rout. Of course, the Skavens aren't just bringing infantry, they also have their monsters and weapons teams. We have some rat ogres here providing some mass blocking, but also the warp grinders using their area of effect lockdown ability, and also the direct damage drain would be quite useful in dealing with the Slaanesh army. On the other side of the battlefield, we have the Slaanesh played by Coops, a front line of Marauder spam with a bit of monstrous backup from the spawns of Slaanesh. And in the skies, a bunch of Chaos Furies of Slaanesh with their armor piercing. They are actually quite efficient in dealing with Skaven weapons teams, but they're only the warp grinders, so they're not gonna silence any firepower today. For the more elite presence, we have some Exalted Daemonettes, one of them the Bringers of Beguilement, to get that extra melee punch and wreck the Skaven infantry. For the single entity here, we have a single Herald of Slaanesh coming in with spells and abilities for support, including the Fury Summon, the Lash of Slaanesh, and also Acquiescence and Purveying of Slaanesh. Now, for the one final mobility, we have the Hellstriders with Hell Scourges, and that's it for army builds. Now, let's get the battle started. There's really not much tricks from afar for this Skaven army. No missiles, no artillery. Well, they are just gonna rush towards the Slaanesh army. While Slaanesh, of course, they are just moving forward as fast as possible, while the mobility are moving into flanking position. But unfortunately for them, there are no missiles to flank. Yes, they can drop onto the warp grinders, but then at the same time, they will get hit by the warp grinders abilities. So not exactly the greatest trade for the Furies. Now Slaanesh is holding back, waiting for the mobility to get into flanking position, but the Skavens are not gonna give them the chance, opening up with a Scorch onto some Marauders of Slaanesh. Not the best placement, missing most of that damage. Probably should have waited the Marauders to engage with the Clan Rats before casting the ability. The Gracier with his giant bell will be slamming straight into the Marauders, doing some pretty nice impact damage, though the Clan Rats aren't going to hold on for too long. The rest of the Skavens are standing by, maintaining the box, preventing any flanking maneuvers. The Gracier of Ruin is dropping the Unholy Clamor, getting a bit more leadership and vigor refresh. And at the same time, the Warp Grinders are showing their devastating damage here, draining away the hit points of both the spawns and the devoted Marauders as they move closer to the front line, doing some pretty nice damage overall. But of course, the Clan Rats cannot hold forever, and they'll be quickly crumbling, opening up to the Warp Grinders being surrounded by Slaanesh foes. On the other side, the other Warp Grinder is also getting hit hard by a Fury Swarm, but there are some Plague Monk sensor bearers close by guarding them, and combined with the seismic abilities, the Warp Grinders with the help of the sensor bearers managed to eliminate 2 whole Fury units before they themselves got routed away. Now on the other side there, the Blight Scabs plate pack are engaging in combat, being hit by the Purveying of Slaanesh. They are getting drained away in terms of health, but with their decent melee stats, very solid after all, with the strength in numbers boosting melee defense and leadership plus frenzy boosting attack, they are 41 attack, 42 defense combined with magic damage. Even Exalted Daemonettes will be taking substantial damage in this engagement, being hit hard, with the charmed debuff counteracted by Frenzy of the Plague Monks. There's also Rebel Rouse, keeping all the Skaven units fresh around the Blight Scabs plate pack. On the other side there, it seems that the numbers advantage of the Skavens are really shining through, as the Slaanesh infantry is running thin, as they are constantly being hit by the Scorch ability and also being forced to fight the more elite Plague Monk sensor bearers and Red Ogres. Now of course, other than the Marauders, there are still the Exalted Daemonettes, especially the Bringers of Beguilement, but they themselves have taken quite a bit of casualties as well. At this point, balance of power is in the favor of the Skavens, as the Skaven box is slowly grinding through the rather squishy Slaanesh foes. Now over here, Hellstriders with Hell Scourges are moving in, trying to hunt down the fleeing Clanrat Spears, but they really should be recharging the Plague Monk Sensor Bears as they're annihilating the rest of Slaanesh infantry. In the middle there, the Council Guard has taken some noticeable damage but are still fighting strong, guarding their Liege Lord. At this point, Slaanesh can't really effectively deal with these heavy defensive infantry as the Daemonids are slowly running out of steam. Even the Bringers of Beguilement has taken substantial damage throughout the game due to their lack of armor, and now Plague Monk Sensor Bears are moving in, plus the Vigor refresh keeping their Vigor level high. Oh, actually, the Bringers of Beguilement also has perfect Vigor. So Vigor isn't exactly the biggest issue between the two units, but once again, Skaven is gaining the upper hand in terms of sheer numbers, being surrounded on all sides. The Daemonids are now taking more and more damage, simply due to their lack of armor. Now the Council Guards are surrounding the Herald of Slaanesh, while the Daemonids are all too far to help. The Spawns of Slaanesh, still one of them fighting, but surrounded by Clanrat Spears with the Anti-Large. Yeah, they're not gonna be surviving for too long, as their unit models are surrounded, poked on all sides. On the far side there are some... what? Rampaged? Clanrats with shields. Oh, probably some of their models got caught in there, but that doesn't matter now as they are routed and soon shattered. The remaining Slaanesh forces are also being mopped up by various elite Skaven formations, which is quite weird when you say it out loud. Either ways, Slaanesh has been outclassed by pure Skaven melee grind, as the Daemonids are being beaten up pretty hard by the Blightscap's Plague Pack. Now all Slaanesh has are some tattered spawns and marauders, plus the very healthy Lord who is desperately escaping the grasp of the Skaven surround. There's also the relatively healthy Hellstrider unit who just got countercharged by the Red Ogres. His dreaded 13 spell delivered enough shock damage to rout off the Hellstriders, and that's gonna be army losses for the Slaanesh army. GG to both players, and now let's have a quick rundown of the army performances. As you can see here, the elite Skavens got quite a bit of value, cutting through all the Slaanesh chaff and their elites as well. However, overall, the Skaven army didn't actually do that much damage because a significant portion of the Slaanesh army were demons, and demons suffer that demonic instability crumbling, so a lot of damage was actually self-inflicted by the Slaanesh army here, especially the Herald of Slaanesh still having quite a bit of health left in the end, missing out a lot of value for the Skavens to kill off. Now, for the Slaanesh army here, the Daemonids, the Bringers of Beguilement didn't actually do that much damage, though the other Daemonid, the Exalted Daemonid's regular version, did some pretty good work overall. The spawns, one of them did well, the other not so much, while the Furies were all quite disappointing, not having any Skaven missiles to disrupt. Their most important function is usually backline disruption, and that did not bode well for them in this pure melee Skaven grind. For the Marauders, they did okay, cutting through a bunch of Skaven chaff, but then again, they're only just cutting down Skaven chaff, so not a lot of value for them either. Hellstrider with Hell Scourges didn't do too much damage, while the Herald of Slaanesh doing some okay damage, as she was constantly spamming all the damage spells, the Lash of Slaanesh and also the Pavane of Slaanesh. Still not quite able to carry this game, as the Skaven melee grind with their numbers and quality is simply too much for Slaanesh to break through. That's it for today's battle. I hope you all enjoy it, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer multiplayer action, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.